I was never going to be a men's physique.
Didn't have much of an off season.
I like his physique better.
I'm always very energetic. I will have to put me as one of the greatest.
Mr. Olympia was won by the back.
Are you a fan of the sport? Because, you know, like, I talk to a lot of people a lot of athletes who compete, right? And a lot of them, they're not necessarily fans of bodybuilding, but they're bodybuilders. And I find it to be weird, right? Mm. So, where do you stand in terms of, are you a fan of bodybuilding? Like, do you have like a favorite bodybuilder? Do you have like a top 5? Or were you like, how did you caught the bodybuilding bug? Like, where you know what I mean?
Well, I caught the bodybuilding bug when I first started to come to the gym back in 2012 when I started to really focus on weightlifting. And I was introduced to bodybuilding as a whole, and I saw that what they wore, the trunks that they wore, and I didn't like it. But then I figured out what men's physique was, and I went ahead and went for that. And I did my first show in 2016, and that's what really turned me on to bodybuilding, at least going on stage. That'd be how I got hooked. Is just as soon as I stepped on stage, it was the LA Championships back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, or 2015. It felt right. Like, I feel like I was supposed to be there. It was weird.
Yeah. So, can you actually be a bodybuilder without being a fan of bodybuilding?
Absolutely. I'm a bodybuilder without being a fan of bodybuilding. I like the bodybuilding process. I like the process, personally, of building the muscle. And, yeah, just the process, I would say. And what you learn from it, like everybody's people's different aspects on how they lifted, and I really liked what Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronnie Coleman had to say. And then what really sucked me was Full Range of Motion with Ronnie Coleman. That like burned inside of my head. But I was a fan of theirs, of their training styles. But as far as bodybuilding as a whole, and me just watching it, and it was never really like that for me.
So you wouldn't go to like buy a ticket, go to like the Olympia, and go to like the Arnolds and just be a fan. You know, what does that feel like? You know what I mean? That's not something that entices you?
No, but just because whenever I first got into it, I got into it as a competitor with the competitor's mindset. My mindset was focusing on becoming number one, you know what I mean? So at the time, whenever I was first coming in, I would see people like, and this whenever social media was first on, Jeremy Buendia, Hadzovic, is that his name? He went classic physique, but it was him and Jeremy Buendia that was battling out back in the day, before Mark Anthony won. So that was whenever it first came in. That's whenever I was like a fanboy. And then I got jaded after my steroid use, and I hated everybody.
The steroids made you hate everybody.
Absolutely. I almost killed myself more than once.
Tell us about that, man. How do you mean you almost killed yourself? What happened?
There was a couple of, well, like I said, with the steroid use for me, it would make me react to those impulses. And some impulses would be telling me that driving down a 40, doing like 120, not caring if I ran into anybody or anyone, just because it felt good and right, because I was so angry. And even at the time, I was probably not even angry at anything specific. It just felt good to be angry. I would come home at the girlfriend, and you remember her. It was back in Van Nuys, but I remember debating on whether going upstairs, because I thought I was so paranoid. I thought she was going to kill me, bro. I was so bad in my own head. You know, I would have to go to the gym like at 3 a.m. Just so I can avoid everybody. It was that real caveman-like gym life aspect, not wanting to be talked to by anybody, because it wasn't necessarily that you were scared of them. It was what you were scared of what you could do to them if things got to that point, you know? So it was a life of seclusion. And I really, like I said, I hated everybody. And I think that I first expressed that whenever, I think a couple of years ago, and you guys covered a tweet I made, and that was before the COVID happened, and that was whenever it first started to really just I hated just my coaches, the judges, the IFBB in general. You know what I mean? And in my mind, it was like they'd have to know that this was inevitable. This was had to happen, because you can't continue to do something like steroids in the industry like this, or promote it. I can't say necessarily promote it, but condone it, and not expect that someone's gonna freak the fuck out, you know, and call people out on their shit. And I don't mean to be so vulgar, but I do get a little bit passionate and heated, because it does bring you back a lot of memories, and it makes me upset.